Hi, I'm James, and I'm becoming handy because today I'm going to install this up there. I'm going to install this up there. I'm going to install this up there. All right, so today I'm going to be installing a security floodlight to the outside of my garage. I don't really know what I'm doing. I got this from Home Depot for like 60 bucks. And there's a couple other things that you have to be able to do. Now, I don't know anything about electricity. I bought a wired version, so I have to hardwire it into something. And I think my plan is there is an outlet that my garage plugs into. I think I'm going to tap into that outlet, run it straight across, and then feed it to the top of my garage. I also don't know anything about electricity. So I have this book right here, and there's two pictures for me to choose from that I think are applicable, and I don't really know which one to choose. And since what I'm going to is not an outlet, I think I'm going to be using this one. And I'm just going to follow that schematic, and we'll see what happens. All right, so like I said, I don't really know anything about electricity, but I do know that step number one, turn off the power. I also bought this little tool that I think you can just stick it in the outlet and it should do something if there's still power. It's green, which I think means good. And then, oh God. Well, it's turning red. I don't know, I don't know what that means. So it said to test on a known outlet, which I did. And when you put it in, it like beeps red, or it beeps and turns red like all the time. So for this, okay, stick it in the hole. It's not working. But there's like a plastic thing behind the outlet that this thing won't shove into. Okay, I gotta figure out how to do that. Okay, so I watched the video. I'll link it somewhere. And it made it seem like you could just put it on one of these wires. If there's voltage going, it should go. So I think it's safe. And we'll go on to the next step. So getting up here and looking at it, it doesn't seem like it's a end of the circuit receptacle, because when I come and look at this, there's two of these that are coming in because the outlet is like all the screws are being used. So I can't use that first picture. So this one runs all the way across, all the way to an outlet right there. And in this one, this other wire right here, so this one goes there, that one runs that way. And I don't know what that's for. So I think I have to use a different picture. And there one is for like when it's in the middle of the circuit. And okay, so I did buy some wire. I think it's 14 gauge wire. Cost me about 40 bucks to do that. And I think I'm gonna use that picture that I found in my book. And I'm just gonna focus on the bottom part of the two screws on the bottom of the outlet. And I'll work on that and just show you when I'm done. I don't understand, how do you get this like big plastic coating off? Like, I know I don't want to cut straight through because I don't want to like cut the wires underneath, but it's just like I'm just taking little tiny cuts. So if any of you have some tips on how to do that easier, please let me know. You can see I cut through and now I have the wire.
Huh? Who are you talking to?
So, I don't know, people. I think I'm gonna watch a video. Okay, so I watched a video, this one, right there. So thanks, Pros and Joes. And this is where I got. Now, a couple things. In his video, he was using Romex, and I don't think this is Romex. This is what I bought. And it seems a lot harder to unsheath this than the Romex. I ended up using his first method, which he did not recommend. So I'll just state that. I did his unrecommended, and that's because I couldn't get the other methods to work. So I do have a pair of lineman pliers. Linemen work with electricity, so it seemed like an appropriate tool to have. But I think I'm on the right track, and I'm just gonna complete that picture, and I'll just show you what it looks like when I'm done with it. All right, so I got like a whole bunch more, and when you have like the leverage, like it's just coming off. It's so easy. So I finished. A couple of changes. In terms of differences from the diagram, I only have 4 of the grounding ones because in the diagram there was a grounding wire that goes to the box to the group, but I think since this is a plastic box, that's not needed. In terms of caps, these caps, they're waterproof caps. Not that they're necessary, it's just all that I had. I don't know where they came from, but they're on there tight, so I think that should work. And then the next thing is to take the wire and then run it across this board all the way down to the wall. I'm just going through the directions of the light, and I have to first determine the mounting. So it says it should be 8 feet off the ground, and then I'm just going to center it over the garage doors. I thought the outlet was going to be the toughest part, but there's a problem. Because it tells me in the instructions to put the mounting bracket on the existing junction box. I don't have a junction box. So I think what I'm gonna do, and if this is wrong and my house burns down, then I'll just delete this video so that I can collect insurance. But I'm just gonna attach this to the house. I have to drill out a little bit for this part so that it sits flush against the house. Because the wire coming in, the ground is gonna go here, and the ground goes all the way back to the outlet. And if push comes to shove, I could always just replace that outlet with the kind that has a little trip button in it, and that should solve the problem too. And I'm gonna seal it all up, so I don't see what the problem is of just mounting this on the wall. If there is a problem, leave a comment and tell me how dumb I am. It's not long enough. This should be long enough. Why do I even have this? Problem. The hole is behind this, and I can't get to it. This is the biggest one that I have. 1/2 inch, and we'll see if it's long enough. It worked. Let me show you. Just mounted it there. I used stainless steel screws because that's what I had. And it's exterior. It's not going to rust. And I just mounted it there. And this hole right here is for the wires to come through. Nothing is sponsored here. I was going to use this as my sealant, so I started squirting it through. Look what happened. The bottom just came out. And now I gotta clean this up. So thanks, DAP. Found this. It's not DAP. I learned why you want a box. And when you put the thing on, where's that supposed to go? That's why you want a box, is so that it can go into the wall. Came up with a solution, because there's 2 holes here, because if you are installing this on an eaves, like underneath, you got to point it a different way. So I just pulled the ground through that hole. This is the cap that came with it, which was too big. So my neighbor, who he had a bunch of staples that he let me use. He also has a bunch of these, so I just got a really, really tiny one. So hopefully this will all just lay flat. So then when I mount the light on here, it should be good to go. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. See how like perfect that is? Took me about 3 tries until it was flush, and now you can, well, you can kind of see some copper. From this angle, you can't see any copper showing. So there's this little piece that goes on top of it for some reason. It fell off. So I'm gonna attempt to use my little sealant and just glue it on there. And if that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna put sealant over the screw. It's white and you won't notice it unless you get really, really close. A little bit of sealant. Not working. Next is we just seal around the light. And this stuff, I don't know if it's good, but it is nasty to work with. Okay, it doesn't go on very smooth. So I'm just gonna attempt to use my finger to smooth it out. Like if it gets everywhere, my plan is I have extra house paint. I'll just come and paint over it after it dries, and then hopefully it won't look so bad. But yeah, the caulking, it's in there good. It's a good seal, but it definitely got everywhere, not very clean. I'll go back and paint it so that it doesn't look so great. But I think it's done, and I just need to turn the power back on. I haven't put the outlet back together just because if something goes wrong, I don't want to have to like take it apart. So I'm gonna go turn the power back on, and we're gonna see if it works. Turn the power back on, and it's not turning on. The garage door doesn't work. The garage door didn't work because I unplugged it. So the circuit was still going on, but so I did it. So I just got to figure out all of the different settings. This job took me, I probably got this done in about 3 hours. So 60 bucks for the light, 40 bucks for the wire. I won't count the miscellaneous tools, because about 100 bucks, 3 hours. I don't know if that's worth hiring out a handyman to do it. I think I learned a lot. I hope in watching this you learned a lot. If there's anything that I should have done differently, let me know in the comments, and catch you next time.